So, hello dear students. First of all, I welcome you all and extend my warm wishes on the beginning of a new academic session. And in this video class, we will discuss some important point related to biology chapter number 1, that is the living world. And in this chapter, we will discuss two important topic. One is nomenclature and one is classification. Okay. And in this video class, we will discuss only about nomenclature. aduna chapter 1 na important point mem yawi adura koi maru in de se kai kai no kanda about nomenclature and classification adu ngasi class adi ngasi gi video class adi nomenclature se discuss tausi. So coming to the topic, first let us try to know what is living. Okay, so to get the answer, first you should know what is the characteristic of a living. So first point, every living organism will perform life process. That means every organism will perform nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, reproduction, movement, locomotion, growth and development. So these are the important features of living, and about life processes we have discussed in detail in class 10. So here we will not discuss in detail. Next, come to second point. So every living organism is made up of cells, and these cells are organized into tissues, tissue into organ, and organ into organ system. That means every living organism have a cellular body organization. So this organization, body organization, is also one of the features of living. Next, come to homeostasis. So every organism can maintain homeostasis. That means every organism can maintain internal body temperature as well as osmotic concentration. Okay, so to maintain homeostasis is also another features of living. Next point is about consciousness. So every organism have consciousness. That is, it is a property in which organism, including plant, can react to the external stimulus. So consciousness, it is also another property of living. So this life processes, body organization to maintain homeostasis and to have consciousness, these are different character to determine that something is alive or something is living. Okay, aduna pot ama se akoina living ni kamaina haigade ge haiba taragadi ngasai leiba organism tuda kai dormani life process dormani ba haiba life processing se akoina class ni loi tamgrabani ko aruga body organization lenungani plus homeostasis habiti kano koi body temperature, osmotic concentration regulate tawdo adu ngamgani aduga consciousness like ne si ma'am se leiba taragadi lai poto kana tare living ni have. So this is the characteristic of living. Next, coming to diversity in living organism. So till now about 1.7 to 1.8 millions of living organism has been identified or described so far, and all these living organisms are studied under the three domain of life. And this three domain system of life was first designed by Carl in 1990, and this domain is also considered to be the highest rank of organism in any system of classification. And the three domain of life are bacteria, archaea and eukarya. And of these three, the first two, that is bacteria and archaea, they include all prokaryotic organisms which are usually unicellular, and all those eukaryotic organisms are studied under the domain eukarya. That means all the living organisms are included under this three domain of life. Aduna world ki diversity se lakanda hojik phauda 1.7 daina 1.8 millions organism se identify torobani hariba organism sing se akoi three domain of life ki makha da se to gadeni aduga hariba three domain system of life se kanana propose toromano ha kanda Carl Woos na propose toromani adu hariba domain se kaino kan organism amagi any system of classification the highest rank we gadeni aduga lairiba three domain of life se kana kana no haiba taragadi bacteria, archaea lere and eukarya lere aduga hambai ani kana kana sigi bacteria ne archaea ne sei sakram organism belong to kani hakanda prokaryotic organism sing se belong to ne aduga eukaryotic organism sing se sina kai sei to gana eukarya da isai to gane. So this is about the three domain of life. So to make the study of these millions of living organisms easier, classification is necessary, and for classification some rules and some procedure are also required. So come to taxonomy. So taxonomy actually it is a branch of biology, and this taxonomy will deals with the principle, with the procedure of naming, of describing, of classification of all living organisms, which include plants and animals. And for this taxonomy, this characterization, identification, classification, nomenclature, these are the fundamental elements of taxonomy. Aduna ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯣꯔꯒꯥꯅꯤꯖꯝꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯌꯥꯝꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯅꯩꯅꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯤꯐꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯇꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯤꯐꯤꯀꯦꯁꯟ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯔꯨꯜꯁ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯁꯤꯗ꯭ꯌꯨꯔ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯇꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯇꯦꯛꯁꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯁꯦ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯕꯥꯏꯑꯣꯂꯣꯖꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯣꯏꯅꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯗ ꯗꯤꯜ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯨꯜꯁ ꯉꯥꯏ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯟꯁꯤꯄꯜꯗꯣ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯐꯤꯀꯦꯁꯟ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯤꯐꯤꯀꯦꯁꯟ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯅꯣꯃꯦꯟꯀ꯭ꯂꯦꯆꯔ ꯌꯥꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯣꯔꯒꯥꯅꯤꯖꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯃꯃꯤꯡ ꯊꯣꯟꯕ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯤꯐꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯐꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕꯗ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯒꯗꯕ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯟꯁꯤꯄꯜ ꯔꯨꯜꯁ ꯗꯤꯜ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯁꯥꯏꯟꯁꯇꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯦꯛꯁꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯦꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯇꯦꯛꯁꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯏꯂꯤꯃꯦꯟꯁꯦ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯅꯩꯅꯕ ꯗꯦꯠ ꯏꯁ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯥꯏꯖꯦꯁꯟ ꯑꯣꯀꯦ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯐꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯗꯦꯠ ꯏꯁ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯐꯤꯀꯦꯁꯟ classification and nomenclature hagan koina maming tholo ko to so if you want to identify an unknown organism so first of all what we have to do is we have to study the character of that unknown organism that is characterization and after the character is studied the character of that unknown organism can be compared with the character of the known group only then we can identify the unknown organism that is identification and after identification the organism can be given a specific place according to the system of classification that is classification and after classification definitely the organism will be given a proper and distinct name and this is nomenclature that is the naming of the organism so this characterization identification classification nomenclature these are the different type of processes which are basic to taxonomy and of these four basic processes in this class we will discuss nomenclature in details. Now come to nomenclature. So nomenclature is the process of naming an organism and every organism have two type of name. One is common or vernacular name and other one is scientific or biological name. So come to common name. It is a name given to an organism in a particular language, but this common name it cannot be used for communication by biologists, and this is because this common name usually differ from one region to another region, and sometimes a single organism is also known by different name in the same language or in the same region. Because of this, common name cannot be used for communication by biologists. So in order to avoid such confusion, every organism is given a name by biologists or scientists based on some agreed principle and criteria. And such name which is given by biologists or scientists is known as scientific name. And this scientific name are universal, okay? And it also ensures that such a name has not been used by any other organism. And it also ensures that only one name is given to a particular organism and the description of the organism should help the other people to arrive at the same name in any part of the world. Aduna nomenclature habadi kaino organism amado naming tobagi process okana nomenclature kore nomenclature hakanda every organism is naming ani legani one is common name and one is scientific name common name haitagadi magi local language ta particular region akona tholiba maming dokona common name natraga akona vernacular name su kore aduga hariba common name sidi scientist singna communicate obasina ba yade karigina kanda di common name sidi region amaga region amus mandre plus kadoge kan sometime particular region amada particular organism amase maming ani humna khangna basu yauri aduna sigi confusion se leitanaba scientist singna kadawrage herkanda rule khargi makhada principle khari makhada every organism singse maming amum thombireba adu mengena scientific name kawre okay ar sigi process ki makhada kadawge herkanda koina maming thomatamda hari maming se atop organism su kaduba hanjana repeatedly hetere sinadanaba koina adu su ensure toganeba plus hariba scientific name se mari universal oganeba so there is something about nomenclature. Next come to system of nomenclature. So there are different system of nomenclature, but here in this class we will discuss one particular system that is binomial nomenclature. So this binomial nomenclature was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus, who is also considered to be the father of taxonomy. And according to this system, that is binomial nomenclature, every organism is given a name, and this name is composed of two terms. Here, the first term indicates the genus, and the second term will indicate the species of the organism. Aduna akoina ngasi tamgadriba nomenclature system se kanano haiba taradi binomial nomenclature ni kana propose ba Carolus Linnaeus na who is also considered to be the father of taxonomy or hariba system se sigi matuina kai hakanda every organism se maming amuni pigadabane or hai maming se wahi ani yagadaba first word na kanagadaba genus aduga second word na kanagani mana species represent tokani haba so this about binomial nomenclature. Next, so there are some international code of nomenclature like ICBN, ICZN. ICBN, it represent International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, and ICZN, it represent International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. And the scientific name had been given through this agency, that is ICBN and ICZN. Now come to rules of binomial nomenclature. So here ICBN, ICZN, they formulated certain rules for giving scientific name, and the important rules are: first point, we know that every organism is given a name which is composed of two words. So here the first word will represent genus and the second word will represent species. So this is the first important point. Second point, so the first name, that is generic name, is to start with capital letter, and the second name, that is species name, is to start with small letter. This is the second point. Now come to third point. In printed form, what happen? The scientific name, they are printed in italics just to indicate their Latin origin, but in handwritten description, the scientific name should underline separately. This is the third important point. Fourth point, so scientific names are derived from Latin language or are Latinized. This is the fourth point. And last fifth point is that the name of the biologist who discovered a particular organism, it can be written in full or in abbreviated form at the end of the scientific name. And this is the last fifth point. And to understand this, let us take one example, that is Mangifera indica Linn. This is the scientific name of mango. Here, the first name, that is Mangifera, we start with capital letter, it represents genus. And second name, we start with small letter, that is indica, it represents species. And Linn, at the end of the scientific name, it represents lineages, the biologists who first named the Mangifera indica. So this is about the rules of binomial nomenclature. Aduna rules of binomial nomenclature the hainingise kaina kanda every organism say maming mami pigani, we should consist of two words hamdana adra first name do is should represent genus, second name kana is should represent species have. Next point dana ngai genus do is should start with capital letter aduga species na kai hogadaba small letter na hogane aduga printed form the d ngai scientific name sing se they are printed in italics aduga koina khuna ibada di kadugane kana moi se tongan tongan na underline togane. Aduga scientific name sing se koina Latin wa se derive to wina tra koina Latin language on thokani ko aduga ngasai particular plant natra particular animal do discover tomiba scientist do adugi maming do scientific name dugi matung iba yagani haba aduske form do koina full form do igera abbreviated form do igera. So these are the rules of binomial nomenclature. Example har kanda Mangifera indica Linn. Sesa Mangifera is kanano genus ni ma capital letter na hore, indica se kanano species ni small letter na hore, duga Linn sina kadore lineage represent tore karamba hagi biologist do karamba biologist kan tak hagi Mangifera indica se discover tromba haitare ihan hana name tromba scientist do represent tore. So these are the rules of binomial nomenclature. Okay, so in this chapter what you're going to study is that you have to study everything about the binomial nomenclature. And this brings me to the end of this class, and hope you can understand each and every point. And thank you very much for your attention. Okay, again, thank you.